Hi, my name is George Pino. I'm the CEO of Commercial Brokers International here in Los Angeles, California. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the recent articles that I've seen out there regarding workforce housing and low-income housing and the needs for Los Angeles, what we're experiencing right now, and the lack of supply. More importantly, I also wanted to touch on how this affects commercial real estate in a macroeconomic sense as well. An article that was picked up earlier this year and also picked up by a lot of news programs, which surprised me, was on some of the statistics, but even more surprising was the fact that a lot of the people I've spoken to didn't see this, and that was that Santa Monica currently has the highest rental rate for any metropolitan area in the United States. It's actually surpassed the one-bedroom rental rate has surpassed San Francisco and New York, coming in actually fourth behind San Jose. So we have Santa Monica, San Francisco, San Jose, and then New York. Average one-bedroom price for one-bedroom apartments in Santa Monica is currently over $4,600. Now, the article for the Santa Monica apartments was actually followed up within the last month or so with another article about Los Angeles as a metro in general. And when you look at the Los Angeles metro's rental rates for apartment housing is actually third in the nation. Now, what does this mean other than housing affordability, and that it might be difficult to find a house or an apartment that you might be able to afford in Santa Monica? What does this mean to the commercial real estate and the businesses in general? So how do the rental rates really affect commercial real estate or businesses for that matter? Now, in an ideal situation, most people like to live and work in the same community. Now, in Santa Monica, that's not necessarily possible, especially when it comes down to the workforce housing and, minimum wage jobs is what I'm talking about. Especially retailers, who I expect to see heavily hit on this. And what do I mean by that? Retailers right now, they can't really afford to cut back on the price of the product. They're competing against a lot of e-commerce. So, what they are going to have to do is either cut back on the employees, which are difficult to do in a retail setting, or more importantly, they may have to go back, and what they can control is come back and ask for relief on some of the rental rates on the commercial properties that they lease up. By doing so, that will affect the values of the property in general. But I think to keep these properties occupied and to attract the right tenants and a good mix of tenants, they're going to have to do that, and landlords are actually going to have to start really taking a serious look at that. Another aspect of commercial real estate which will be impacted by this is also going to be more in the office sector, office space. And that won't happen as quickly as perhaps the retail sector, but what I do see, and already what's happening, is you have larger companies that are having a hard time attracting employees because of the high cost of living and high cost of housing in this particular area. So what they are doing is looking for other areas where they can move to, where the employees can have a better quality of life, so to speak, because they have more disposable income, and a smaller percentage of their income is going toward housing. So in conclusion, the rise in the rental rates are fantastic for a lot of the multifamily owners and investors out there. However, it is going to affect the commercial sector down the road. I see this happening more on the retail market segment initially. I see that in for a little bit of a bumpy ride, because really that's the only sector, or the rental rates are really the only areas that a retailer can affect their bottom line at this time, and then closely followed thereafter by offices, as companies look to move into other locales to be able to attract talent and employees. So, although it does look good for the multifamily industry, I don't know how strong and how well it's going to react for the rest of the commercial sector. So it should be for an interesting experience in the next couple of years on commercial real estate, and just more ammunition for diversifying your portfolio.